Christ,
Oh
this is
my
what happens
God.
when he finally shows up.
Shut
Oh my
Already.
god.
Already.
Off to
God, miss your
great,
cue, why don't you? Oh my god.
magnificent
I'm
start.
here.
Make some popcorn, get yourself a snack. Just some idiots who don't know jack. Our opinions are out of whack. Get ready, let's go. It's the Real Stupid Review Show. And that's that.
Okay, all right. Oh my God.
All right, let me introduce
He's
these
here,
very
this is how
loud
we're
people.
feeling now.
We have Cody, Eddie, and Daniel, who's leaving over there.
Just turn on the
Mike,
light so we
Matt,
can look better.
and then Stuart. Is Stuart here? All right.
Shit.
We heard
But
him.
the most important person is Cody because it is his mandate this week. Cody, what are we watching and why?
We are watching Attack the Block because it is one of my favorite movies of all time and one of the best examples, in my opinion, a movie setting out to do something with a certain concept and executing it as close to perfectly as you can.
Cody's comment is pretty on the spot. I went into this movie not knowing anything about it. Like, this was my very first viewing of it, and I mean, once I got past the very thick barrier of figuring out what they're saying, I enjoyed every second of it. I sat through.
What's the matter,
and-
Buff? You don't know? You can't speak straight, Buff?
Don't make me ghost you, Michael. All right, like you better shut your ass.
Allow it. Allow it.
If I were to give this one a rating, I'd say
No,
Jumping ahead.
Alright.
God damn
This is
it!
what happens when you're only on 2 episodes. This is what happens when you're only on 2
Everything up.
episodes.
Oh, God,
Yeah, so I had watched this movie before once, and again, like what you said, watching it again brought to light new things I hadn't seen that first time that I viewed it, and it just adds to the movie even more in that way. The British comedy is kind of a relief in the American comedy that we live in.
I found it hilarious. I find like the stark difference between American and British hilarious, just in the simple fact of like what the big weapon was. It was like a revolver, or like a pistol or something, right? And I was just, if that was an American comedy, that's an AK-47. That's charging through, running the streets.
This is the probably fourth time I've seen it. This movie,
Jeez.
visually it's great. Story wise, it's super simple, gets the point across in a way that's entertaining, and you get invested in the characters really quickly, which I love because the whole point of the characters is they're stupid fucking street thugs that nobody gives a fuck about, and you take the perspective of them, the chick that they just mugged, through this entire adventure, and they all end up a happy family at the end. So fuck that, it's fucking great. I love this shit.
I was a bit confused about what I was watching because it felt like one of those movies where the directors, they have writer's block, so they take a dartboard and they put a bunch of ideas and they put on a blindfold and they just throw 2 darts. Those 2 themes, they're so like far apart from each other that it felt hard to like relate to it.
My biggest thing with this movie, just the way that the monsters are framed. It's very rare in a movie that the monster being on screen is scarier than it not being on screen. In Attack the Block, seeing the entire monster on screen absolutely makes it scarier. This is one of the coolest designs for a monster that I've ever seen because it's so elegant. They're just gorilla wolf motherfuckers, and it just works.
Less is more. The
Absolutely.
Best design being the like of a design. That's a thing I'm going to hit on later as far as like whether that is great design or more of a cop out. I can dive into that a little bit further.
I think Cody and I have faces like we want to delve into that now, possibly.
Want to dive into
Yeah.
that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you bring up
So-
something like that, you draw that line in
I
the
was
sand.
actually really impressed with the mother puppet. What?
For me, this is a great film, honestly. So when I say cop out, I understand this was a budget film for a sci-fi film. I mean, I don't imagine they had the
$8 million
budget.
budget's not so bad.
For considering like other, like you think sci-fi film like Alien, there's just nowhere near the same budget. But the fact that they were able to achieve the world that they created in the film is impressive for sure. So some of the workarounds that I'm sure were considered were the design of the monster. So it's probably a lot easier to make a monster where it's just a shadow budget wise and, kind of multiply it in multiple scenes. But it was creative. Like the way they did it, like it didn't. I only question it because I have to. Again, just casual viewing. I honestly think it's brilliant the way they kind of worked around it. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm thinking this is probably a budget constraint.
I don't think it's a budget constraint at all. The part that everybody's overlooking right now, and again, kind of, back to what Gerardo said at the beginning of the show, is this is a very British produced movie as well. We in America are like, yeah, we need the big budget. We need things to explode. We need fucking snarling teeth and all the things and the close up of the wet scales. Like, we need to be gruesome and CG and fucking way over the top and have explosions. In the UK, just give me a quality beastie, and like throw it down the street, have something interesting going on, and that's all they need. Essentially, they're doing a Doctor Who episode. Aliens pop down in the middle of fucking London. These kids have no idea what's going on, but they have no choice but to react and save their fucking block. And they come together as a unit, despite their differences. They pick up weapons wherever they can. I love the fucking little kids hiding out in the dumpster. Like, it has all the elements of the kooky neighborhood shit.
Mayhem
It's
and
very
Robs.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. The heart of the film, the kids. How did you guys feel about their backstory or lack thereof? Did you guys find yourselves caring when a couple of them ended up getting axed?
I respected the hell out of that move. Yeah, it's not something I'm ever like excited to see in cinema, but like it's also just something that you never see in cinema, and just like the fact that they did so, and in the way that they did, like it was fucking gruesome, bro. Like,
Or went out for
Or went out.
Did you care though? Again, like there was one scene where they really kind of go into their backstory, but as far as like who they are, it's like, he died.
You get their whole
It happened.
backstory in the first scene. Their whole backstory is
When they go
they
to
don't need to
their
show it
houses, too.
because they know that you know.
I think good idea of what our ratings are going to be, but now we're going to go through and actually give our ratings. So, man of the hour, Cody, I'll let you start off, and I have the wonderful graphics ready. So basically,
5 out of 5, real epic.
Ready? Okay, might as well.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. They didn't try to make The Lighthouse or anything like that. They tried to make a movie about aliens in a South London apartment block, and they made the absolute perfect version of aliens in a South London apartment block, and I love it. It's exactly what it wants to be. It is probably better than anyone would have thought it was ever going to be, and yeah, it's great.
If this was out of 10, I would give it a 9.5. The only reason I would have docked it that like half of a point was just because like I do for sure have to like concentrate on like figuring out what they're saying when they're saying it. But like, once I start picking up on context clues and just like listening to their speaking, I'm like, okay, for sure. Like
We're not familiar with that slang, all right?
don't really watch British comedy too often, so a lot of the slang was something that I picked up, but it was relatively easy to pick up.
But yeah, it's a real epic. Yes, 5 out of 5. But yeah, I love the movie overall. Second time watching it, saw a lot more details in it, and the sort of those effects that they put really make the enemies pop.
That's a real epic for me. I'm all for this movie. I mean, as a fan of British comedies, next time it's my pick, all my choices are going to be British comedies. I mean, we kind of already watched one, but next time I'm just going to flood the market. Like, god damn you uncultured fucks.
I'll accept it gladly.
British comedy is something that should be appreciated and not belittled by people. I'm pointing at Eddie in my screen. I don't know if he's lined up there on the stream or not, but that's Eddie on my... this way? Yeah. Fuck you. All right? Yeah. Anyway, so... Wait, this way? Wait. Yeah.
Oh god, it's mirrored on the stream.
So fuck everybody.
All right. I'll keep mine short and sweet on this. I'm giving it real epic.
I love Cody's
Okay,
face.
this was like the first time viewing the movie, but it felt nostalgic watching it. Like
I love that response.
So I love that feeling that it captured, and then just like I don't really have any major complaints, and I was very entertained from start to finish. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10.
So besides my one little complaint at the start, that doesn't take away from the movie at all, in my opinion. It was just like a what moment, when I first started watching it. But no, the movie was really fun. It was especially when they killed the kids. That was like, okay, this
That was the
movie-
highlight.
That was Stuart's
No,
favorite
no,
part.
not in a good way.
I get it. I fully get it. But
Not like, yeah, they killed
You're a
kids.
very
Like,
anti-child show.
like, it wasn't because kids are dying. It was, oh shit, they're willing to do that in this movie. Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, so that's a
Epic.
5. I'm assuming. Epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Epic.
There's the graphic. Boom. Gotta get my money's worth out of these. Who would have thought? I'm basically right there with you guys. If you excuse my beginning complaints again, that was just because I had to complain about something, because that's what I think we're supposed to do when we review things.
that's what we're here for.
Again,
Yes,
those
sir.
were because I had to choose something. If you look at it just casual viewing, again, from the very start, you know what it is. It is a flawless masterpiece in sci-fi. I kind of hate myself that I didn't see it earlier. I was aware of its presence, but now that I have seen it, I will sing its praises to anyone who hasn't. I'm going to be that annoying person that's like, yo, you haven't seen Attack the Block, and then just force, a legal version of the film on any person with a set of eyeballs. So loved it. It's a real epic for me.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
The 3 movies I've chosen for this episode will be Shrek 1, Shrek 2, and Shrek the Musical.
Shrek the Musical, hands down. Shrek the Musical, like, unironically amazing.
Shrek the Musical.
If there's not a song about how onions are like ogres, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. There's
trust
gotta
me,
be
you
a
guys,
song.
you guys are
I'm
gonna
gonna
enjoy
watch
it.
a different movie and just talk about that one instead.
That'll
You
be
fucking
hilarious.
asshole.
That would.
I'm gonna watch The
You
Purge
could
and talk about that.
Next week we're doing Shrek the Musical, I guess. So tune in for that. All right,
Guys,
thank you,
so I watched
Cody.
the original Suspiria from the 70s, and that's what I'm going to
I wanna
talk
watch
about
the
instead.
original
This is
Suspiria.
the week I'm gonna watch
thank
Citizen
you, Eddie.
Kane. I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
talk about
Daniel.
Citizen Kane.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mike.
Any
Thank you, Stuart.
viewers, if you think the show is better without Eddie, vote, and we will kick him off.
It won't change
Type
anything.
a nice pog
It
in the
was,
chat.
yeah.
He's like bed bugs. You can't get rid of him.
I am
All right.
entertaining.
But it didn't do enough to balance out. It came across as like, I actually had one of these jokes written down. This was like the alternate film to Schindler's List. This is like Schindler's Blacklist. So it's like you could watch the the Oscar version, or you could watch this one this is like the royalty free version when they show you in school.